we are back. Thank you so much, Christian, for this very interesting interview on security. Alarms going off in the studio. This is a live-setting environment. This is what makes it fun. Now, our next session is one of the sessions I'm really looking forward to. It's how data science has impacted marketing. And to discuss this issue, or this topic rather, we have Sarah Safri, who's the CMO of TX Markets. Welcome, Sarah.
Hi, everyone. I'm happy to be here.
Very happy to have you. Can you quickly explain what you do for the TX Group, for TX Market?
Right now, I'm in the function of Chief Marketing Officer of TX Market. So I'm in the management team of TX Markets. As you all know, a lot of things are changing right now. So if you ask me what I do right now, I mostly work for the merger. So yeah, but I've been part of the TX Group ecosystem, I would say, for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Roughly, I started at Tutti, where I was head of marketing and communications, and at that time, Tutti was super small. When I joined, and I think for almost 10 months, I was the only woman in the team.
So it has changed quite a lot?
It has changed quite a lot, and I think it's good. And later on, so I was in charge there for marketing and communication, built the marketing team. At that time, Tutti wasn't known. And then almost 5 years ago now, I joined the central team, and then because I've seen all the opportunities that there was for I would say synergies, but also knowledge sharing, etc. Then I made some proposals about what we can do, and then my role was created from there.
So we're actually going to talk about later about what it means to do marketing for a brand that is actually a collection of brands. So we'll maybe get into this question later. But the reason why we wanted to have you today, Sarah, is this morning when we're doing the introduction talk, Harry Fuchs said, when I tell people that there are Python data scientists in marketing teams, they say, what? They cannot believe it. Because there are several levels of understanding, I guess, of what marketing is. The first level, which is the very innocent level, is marketing is all about creating brands and colors and logos and messages. Then there's a second level of understanding, which is actually marketing is really thinking about how, what product do you put to which market, to which people, how do you position it, etc. But what we're interested to discuss today is this third level of understanding, which is in marketing, you really need to precisely understand in the very core details who do you market to, how, in which market, etc. And this is what we will talk about. Okay, so first of all, just to make sure viewers understand what TX Markets is, and I guess you and the people who work in marketing for these brands, working in marketing for an online marketplace, that means what? Bringing traffic, qualified traffic to these sites?
So I'm not a big fan of traffic as a marketing KPI. I think it's a bit too easy. So basically, our platforms, they are all two-sided, right? So we have a real estate platform with HomeGate, we have cars with Car For You, we have generalists with Tutti and Ricardo, and those platforms are two-sided, which means that you need, on one hand, customers or sellers, and then on the other hand, you need buyers or users, right? And you need to bring somehow those guys to the platforms, right? Yeah. Now, I think first, those people need to know that you exist. So they need to know about your brand, right? Then they need to think about your brand when they have a need that can be fulfilled by one of these platforms. Yeah. Then they need to come to your platform and then take action, right? That's why I don't like so much the traffic KPI. And after that, you want them to come back again and again, right? And then I would say then maybe a fifth stage, which is that they talk about you to their friends, which is I would say, like word of mouth, the holy grail of marketing. And at the end, you have those like 5 phases, and around those phases, then you use different marketing channels, right?
Yeah.
And those channels can be digital, so like display advertising, for example, or emails, marketing, push notifications, whatever. But they can also be offline, like TV advertising or out-of-home billboard advertising.
Yeah.
So our platforms use all those channels to kind of complete this circle.
So can I ask you, if you don't like traffic as a KPI, what are your favorite marketing KPIs?
So probably revenue,
Yeah.
because then it's really the business impact, right?
Yeah.
And it's really what it really brings. Now, revenue is not possible as a KPI for all the platforms, and sometimes it doesn't make sense to only have revenue, right? So most of the time we have KPIs around brand awareness, KPIs around user doing something on the sites, and then also KPIs on returning users. So
Okay.
but we work together with the brands on defining those KPIs, and it's very specific to the platform and to the strategy also of the brand.
Okay. So according to your LinkedIn profile, your
Yeah.
team is composed of 15 people. Is that correct? Or do you need to update your profile?
I think it's more or less 15 right
More or
now.
less 15. Okay.
Yeah.
So in this team, how much of your team is very technology driven or data scientists, because this is what the core of this conversation.
So we don't have pure only like data scientists or data engineers.
Okay.
We have, I would say, kind of dual profiles. So, people that understand the data science world that can also build models, but also understand the marketing world. And here we have dual profile in data science, data engineering, and also in automation. And I would say roughly this is 1/3 of the team, more or less. But everyone is quite technical in a way, because at the end, we do marketing for online platforms, right? So you have to also
So by a sense, they have to be.
or an affinity, so
Yeah.
an interest, is important.
Okay. So 1/3, it's quite a big share of your team,
Yeah.
especially if you're stuck in the first or second understanding of marketing, which is all about brands and colors. It is online marketplaces, so require a lot of data analysis and scientists. So concretely, what has data science enabled marketers to do? You can talk about examples from your work or that you know about.
Yeah, it's the TX conference. So I can bring maybe some examples from here, from TX Markets. For really data science, I think we have 2 main use cases. One use case is marketing mix modeling. So this is a predictive modeling that help us to define what is a good marketing budget and how is it best invested in different channels, so that it predicts the outcome of different media mix. With media mix, it means, like, for example, 10% goes to
billboard
exactly. Yeah. So this is one main use case that we have. That's the one with which we started, and we are now able also, for example, because you've said a few times, we have here branding and we have there data science. I don't see it in this dichotomy.
Yeah.
I think this is all, one part, and branding is needed in many cases. So for me, it's not data science versus
branding. I actually didn't mean it that way. I just meant that there's, like, for example, the example that you just gave about the marketing mix. It's a question marketers are facing every day.
Yeah, exactly, because I would say the challenge is, every time when we invest in marketing or in a marketing channel, you have to expect diminishing returns. So at one point, the money you invest doesn't bring you as much outcome as it was with a lower amount, right?
Yeah.
So what it's crucial to understand when this diminishing point is starting, right? And this is what we do with marketing mix modeling, and this allows us to spend money more wisely at the end. Yeah. And then a second use case that we have right now is we built propensity churn models so that we can calculate how likely is it that a user churns, right? So we get then a value, and then based on this value, we have marketing automation, right? So then, for example, we will spend more money for display advertising if this person is more likely to churn. Or we decide not to spend money at all because it's a lost cause, for example. So this is another case that we have here now at TX Markets.
And this is all derived from your predictive models?
Yeah, this is derived from the churn propensity model, for example. And now those are kind of tools that we built for our brands and that we use on a daily basis, or like marketing mix modeling more on a quarterly basis. But now when you work in marketing, you have artificial intelligence in play all the time, right? Because when you do Google ads, those are...
They're doing artificial intelligence.
Yeah, they're doing that, or Facebook, etc., right? And this is also where your money goes. So I would say artificial intelligence is already very present in marketing.
Yeah, even if you don't do it yourself,
exactly.
Google and Facebook will do it for you.
For you, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. This is actually, so the fact that the TX group can do this very precise data science and have these predictive models is not so surprising. TX group is a big group. It's a collection of brands. What would you advise to a smaller company or a marketer who hasn't really implemented some of these strategies? Because first of all, you have to start somewhere, but also it's an investment to be able to do all of these models. Would you advise somebody with a bit of a lower budget than the TX group to get into these things, or where should they start? How could you guide them?
So I think when you start to be interested in that and then see and want to see what is the opportunities for business value that there's in that, because at the end, it has to bring a value, otherwise you don't do it for the art of doing it, kind of. I think it makes sense to start just talking to people in your industry and see really the use cases that they have so that you can a bit understand what is doable. And then if you think, okay, this is really an opportunity for us, then first you have to look at which kind of data you have, and if you have also the ability to activate this data, right? So because then you will assess, okay, do I need more a data engineer or a data scientist, right? And once you've done that, then I think it's good to start with proof of concepts, like really not thinking, okay, this will solve all our problems and bring us a lot of money, but really testing it to see what it really brings, and then scale it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that AI is already very present in marketing, no matter how how much you do it yourself. One topic that keeps coming up at the moment is AI producing marketing content, AI producing landing pages, ads, things like that. What's your take on this? Is it something you're experimenting with, or that you actually have started to implement, or you're just curious about it?
So I think around 1 year ago, Google launched the Google Performance Max campaigns, which is basically Google deciding about almost everything, not the landing page yet, but the rest on all the Google ecosystem. So not only search, right? It's YouTube, it's display ads, etc. So we. 2 days ago, it has been made available to everyone, but we were beta listed, so we could try it out, and I think it's quite interesting, actually, the results that we got.
So can you just explain? So this program does what I just described. So it uses artificial intelligence to produce ad copies, for example.
Yeah. So Google Ads will optimize sometimes also the message. Will optimize where it will show. Will kind of also choose what will be shown, etc.
Okay.
But it's only for the Google ecosystem, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you maybe take take a bit a step back, TV is becoming more digital with programmatic buying. Out of home is becoming more digital, also with digital out of home, etc. So I think quite soon we will have the capabilities to have artificial intelligence doing a lot of the marketing operations, right? But I'm not sure that the customers or the consumers will accept it. So I don't know how it will be regulated also in the future, right?
Yeah.
So it's not so clear how it will look like. I think that the technology will be there, it's already there, right? But this is only to run the marketing operations. It's kind of, doing the work that people were doing manually before. It's not doing the whole marketing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to reassure you, after this interview, I have another interview with 5 branding experts from the
One of them is in my team.
So they will be given a big voice, so don't worry about it. But I guess my last question is, I've played a lot with data and analysis of these models, and it's quite addictive. Mm-hmm. It's almost, you can spend your entire working days on it. Do you think it's possible to do marketing just with data analysis? Do you still need a feel for the market? Do you need some instincts? Or actually, are your instincts counterproductive and you should follow the data? What do you think?
So, data is a tool, and there are also other tools. So, a feel for the market is a tool, a gut feeling is also a tool.
Okay.
And then here we spoke a lot about quantitative data. But qualitative data is also something very important. So for me, I'm fascinated about what can be done with data in marketing, although I did a lot of branding myself as well. So it's not like that. So I'm really fascinated about that, but I really see it only as a tool within a broader tool set at the end.
For you, it's a tool in the toolbox.
Exactly.
That's a great conclusion to the interview. Thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us for this interview. And coming up next, in a couple of minutes, we have the TX branding experts coming here to talk about the topics of purpose and branding. So we'll be right back in a couple of minutes. We're switching the mics and the interviewees. See you soon.